Okay, going into part five, Dr. Botanica with you, preparing the famous Hippocrates soup and the or special soup that was created by the Gerson therapy. And I had an opportunity to learn about this soup while in training and interning at the kitchen physician school of natural healing, which was in Boca Raton, Florida. And, I was back and forth also at the International College of Traditional Chinese Medicine at the time. And, yeah, learned about the Gerson therapy, came into a whole new fold of holistic modalities around that time. And as you see here, this is the actual soup that's going to be prepared, and it's going to be very interesting. Again, I'm going to bring this to a boil. Now, there's no seasoning in this soup, okay? There's no seasoning whatsoever. It's going to be self-flavored. And once it comes to a boil, you're going to immediately turn it down to a simmer mode, and this is the beginning of a new health paradigm for you people who have never heard of or prepared the soup. I'll be coming back at you later down the line and how you can make a very wholesome and simplistic meal for you and your family at very economical cost. I see people spending extra money on all these extras, making the meal, but your meal can actually be very simplistic with lentils, various types of rice, potatoes, legumes, beans, buckwheat noodles, which is very nutritional, udon noodles. Learn how to make a stir fry. And for those of you who are, like shrimp, you can also, grill the shrimp. However, I am an, advocate for people who have chronic and degenerative disease, arthritis, heart disease, cancer, is that you do take on a more vegetarian type of lifestyle, though I do indulge in halal or grass-fed beef periodically, not all the time, lamb or goat. So, I'm not a vegan or vegetarian. However, I do advocate that for people who have chronic or degenerative conditions, gastrointestinal conditions, like I said, cancer, any inflammatory condition. Certainly you want to indulge in a more vegetarian, more alkaline dietary intake. And again, been in the industry for a very long time. I've been studying since the age of just before I turned 10, and was quite intrigued by the many magazines that I would read and acquire at that time: National Geographic, Jacques Cousteau, the writings about Jethro Kloss, or when he wrote the book Back to Eden, Dick Gregory, following his pattern of fasting. And for those of you who may or may not be familiar with my fasting episode or regimen, I actually lost 37 pounds in 3 weeks. I went from 242 to 208 in 3 weeks. Real talk, real story. By conducting the fast, which my fast, I did nothing but green tea. I did juicing twice a day. When I felt that I needed to cheat, I went to a Japanese restaurant called Kansai in Boca Raton, and I would just kind of sneak there and sip on the broth. And but did about 45 minutes of calisthenics first thing in the morning, jogged, and had maybe fruit juice once a day, because you do have to incorporate fruit juice. You can't just do all vegetable. Your body may go into shock, and there's a science to it. but I was able to drop 2 sizes and go from 242 to 208 in exactly 3 weeks. And you can do that as well. And I haven't did an extensive fast like that since 95, but I have did the short 3 day, 7 day fast, intermittent fasting. So fasting is very, very good. So we're going to come back at you after a couple of hours, and we're going to see how this soup actually looks. Again, I'm preparing this for my mom because I was concerned about a slight edema. And normally when people have edema, they have, heart problems. And there could be also too much sodium in the cells. So the purpose of the soup is to create a very unique potassium catalyst that will help the cells excrete the excess sodium out. So again, this is Dr. Botanica, your holistic practitioner, also known as the Doc Jock. And for those of you who are into podcasts, I do have a podcast titled Serious Health. And for those of you who are familiar with my writing, I published 2 books. My first one, Medicine, Medicin, the causes and solutions to disease, malnutrition, and the medical sins that are killing the world. It was actually an award-winning book. And that book came to me in my dream, December 2004, and Dick Gregory endorsed it to me because he thought it was phenomenal. Then I created the last November with my co-author, Dr. Anith Jafari, Stealing a Woman's Treasures. So if you want to find out more details, you can go to my website, www.docbotanica, that's DOCBOTANICA.com. And if you want to acquire a consultation and acquire a bona fide protocol for whatever health challenge you have, I have helped many people, have serviced many people from the California area. People even live near Cedars-Sinai Hospital, and people live near Johns Hopkins Hospital. And so I have had clients all over the country, and Dick Gregory highly endorsed my practice because he had seen the results of many people who have recovered from cancer to heart disease, autoimmune disease, even children with attention deficit disorder, even women who had infertility problems. I was able to actually help these women bear children by implementing the appropriate protocol. So my training is very extensive. I've been trained and educated in traditional Asian medicine or Chinese medicine, orthomolecular medicine, which is practiced in Germany under Dr. Matthias Rath, metabolic therapy under the Gerson therapy, trained in homeopathy. I was also a rep for Heal, which is one of the profound homeopathic companies out of Germany as well. So I see we're getting to a boil, so we're going to turn this down about 2 and let it simmer. And yeah, it looks good. Smells good. As you can see, the little gadgets here that are used for cooking, air frying, or whatever. The only thing that's missing is a juicer. I need to invest in another juicer. Now, for those of you who are interested in a juicer, we also carry juices from Omega Juices that's been around for about 30-something years. And you can also get it at a discount. And if you become a part of the cooperative economic program, you can also get a substantial discount. And also we will use that funding through the co-op to contribute to the offspring, the little people, because those of you who are familiar with my background know that I have a great concern for the little people and the future of the little people, because these men that are behind these 3-piece, 2-piece suits have destroyed the environment. They have obliterated the environment, the waters, the streams, because of self-greed and their total disconnect with universal law and nature. They have no spirit, they have no soul, so they have no concern or care about the little people. So that's why I'm on the front line, creating what they call the tribe of oneness. Remember that name, the tribe of oneness. And because we have to make room and create a economical and educational platform that is totally different from what we have received from an educational institution that was created and developed by the Rockefellers, who have no concern. And if you look it up, it's all there in the internet about education. They had no interest in elevating your consciousness, because if they did, they would not have withheld things like who we really are, the indigenous people of the land, ancient Moabites, and and that we were already here before the continents even divided. So they started promoting the black. Matter of fact, for those of you who don't know the history, the word black initially came from George Washington when he decided to strip the Moors of their title back in 1774. He stated that now that we have the upper hand on the Moors, we're going to take the fezzes and turbans off their head, the sandals off their feet, teach them religiously that they are black, Negro, colored, and Ethiopian. And 200 years from now, they will not know from which land they came, their forefathers' ancestry, nor their nationality. And they will forget. And right here in 2020, as you see, Black Lives Matter, as I've always stated, black has no standing in law. Even your former president, Barack Obama, stated that black has no standing in law. So these people that are out there wasting their time, their breath, they're in the wrong venue. They need to be doing more reading, more structuring than out there just shooting from the hip with no bona fide knowledge, no coaching from a scholar, no quality reading material or anything like that. They're just out here following and, the Pied Piper. But anyway, getting back to the food therapy, again, we will check back in a couple of hours after this has simmered and see how the soup or the broth actually looks. I'm Dr. Botanica. Peace and be well.